Yo, what's going on? I get this comment every time I do a video about Atlanta, and the comment is, why is it that you talk about Atlanta but not New York, a place that you're from? Well, first of all, let me clear up this whole New York thing. You know, I was born in New York and I lived my younger years in New York, and make a long story short, I don't want the violin start playing, you know what I'm saying, and people dozing off of the video. You know, I've been back and forth, throughout all my life. You know what I'm saying? So to be factual with you, I've spent just as many years down south than I have in New York. You know what I'm saying? So I consider both places to be my home. You know, the South, specifically Charlotte, and New York, specifically Jamaica, Queens. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I don't talk about New York as much as I do Atlanta is because New York is a city. It's a you see what you get city. You know what I'm saying? It's not a facade. You know what I'm saying? New Yorkers are some of the best people, but can be some of the worst people at times. I say some of the best people because they're straightforward. They're gonna let you know whether they like you or not. That plain and simple. It's not, I gotta figure this dude out here. It's none of that. Like, there is a thing called a New York state of mind. And oftentimes I use that. Every now and then I tend to slip up, you know what I'm saying? But definitely down here in the South, you gotta have that type of mentality. Because the South is different from the North. You know what I'm saying? The North, you don't got that Southern hospitality, not too many people talking, you know what I'm saying? Nowadays, people, greet each other like that, because of, what happened several years ago, 9/11. After 9/11, the buildings came down, it seems as though that New York is opened up, you know what I'm saying? It was a little bit more polite. You know what I mean? But they don't have Southern hospitality up in New York. But, you know what I'm saying? In the South, they do. And oftentimes, a lot of the crooked snakes will use their so-called Southern hospitality to reel you in. So you thinking, yo, this guy, or this chick, they really feeling me, they want to be friends with me and this and that and so forth, and New York, we got this brick wall, you know what I'm saying? But it can be, broken down once you like fam, you know what I'm saying? Once we think that you're fam. But that's not how it goes in the South. In the South is Jake the Snake all day. So they'll use their Southern hospitality to reel you in and open you up. Next thing you know, you getting set up. So it's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? What more can I say about New York? It's just straight up, it is what it is. And everybody knows that. Everybody that has gone to New York, has lived in New York, born and raised or whatever, they know it's black and white with the North. It's that plain and simple. It can't get no simple than that. Straight up. But here in the South, the black and white is you know what I'm saying? There's a medium. It's gray. There's a color called gray. Sometimes you don't know whether this person is this way or that way. There's a lot of two-faced people in the South. You know what I mean? And then, another thing is they used to call, Brooklyn, the, Black Mecca. They used to call Jersey New Jerusalem. That's not how it is now. You know what I'm saying? They're calling Atlanta the new Black Mecca. All the black people are flocking there. Matter of fact, there's a lot of black people that are leaving, a massive exodus. They're leaving out of modern day Egypt because that's what New York is. I mean, New York is the heart of the United States of America. They're exiting out of Egypt because just like Egypt fell, so will New York. And I'm not talking about like I ain't talking about like no anarchy or nothing like that. I'm just saying, like, they're pricing out people. It's too expensive to live in New York, and New York has turned into literally a Disney world. You know what I'm saying? It's just full of tourists. You go up there and you look at the Statue of Liberty, and You go to the Empire State Building, it's just a tourist city. It's all bubbly now. The rent is ridiculous up there. You know what I'm saying? It's a very hard living up there. If you're not making like a lot of, I'm talking about millions of dollars. If you just a regular dude, like how you going, what? Well, you going to work 4 or 5 jobs? I knew somebody that worked 4 or 5 jobs in the 90s trying to make ends meet. I can't even imagine somebody trying to keep up with, like their bills. And then New York is all about, glamour. You gotta walk outside and look presentable. I can't even imagine how people could keep up with their bills and what's trending, the new sneakers and the styles and all the rest of that, going to clubs and all the rest of that. Yo, let me tell you something. When I was living in New York, every time I've lived in New York, I've always stayed with a family member. That plain and simple. No way in the hell I could make it on my own. No way. I remember I got fed up with my father and I went to go look for a room. And man, that was like in the early 2000s. And they were like, I think the rooms were like, what was it, about 300, something like that a week? And that's probably like, somebody may say right now, like, that ain't nothing. Just a room. I'm talking about a room, not a kitchen, not a bed. I'm talking about a room like you're renting out a room in someone's house. It's real talk. So I'm here to like really let you all know why I don't really talk about New York, because what's there to talk about? What is there really to talk about? Nobody's really like telling people to come to New York. Straight up. New York, far as on a cultural aspect, hip hop and all the rest of that stuff, the South is where it's at now. Now the roles have reversed. You know what I'm saying? At one point in time, the South used to follow the North, or rather New York, to be specific. Now, New York follows the trends, the culture, and all of that stuff from the South. Atlanta is what is popping now. New York is what it is. It's always gonna be what it is. You know what I'm saying? But nobody's really. I don't. Yo, seriously, this is my word. I don't even know anybody that is moving to New York. Nobody ever. I don't know anyone that said, "Yo, man, listen, in the next 2 weeks you ain't gonna see me." Like, why? Oh, because I'm moving to New York. I would be like, what? What? Huh? What? It wouldn't make sense. Pretty Ricky and I, you know what I'm saying? We ain't moving back to New York. First, I'm gonna tell you the real reason why. I mean, there's 2 reasons, really. Well, actually 3 with me. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak on behalf of my brother. You know what I'm saying? But actually 3 reasons. But I know one of the reasons why we have that one in common. You know what I'm saying? The first one is can't bring any firearms. You mean to tell me I can't protect and defend myself? I gotta walk around with the glizzy, the burner, the stick, or however what y'all say right now. With the serial number scratched off? Nah, that's okay. I'm too later in my years to go to jail for some shit like that. Nah, that's okay. Second one is the weather. For all those that know New York, man, I will say this, because I look at the news. I look at New York's news, Atlanta news, Florida. You know what I'm saying? But I will say this: these past years, you know what I'm saying? Y'all haven't really had that big of a snowstorms. But I remember when I used to live in New York, man, we used to have to dig ourselves out. I'm talking about when you open the door, there was a goddamn wall of snow. And you literally had to dig yourself out. So the first thing is I can't bring my firearms with me. I can't bring my AR. My P365 6-hour. I can't, none of that. The Canik, I can't, none of that. The second thing is the weather. Man, I'm not trying to deal with that weather. Here in Charlotte, Charlotte's and Atlanta's weather is somewhat similar. You know what I'm saying? It's going on February. I'm more than sure If we do by chance get some type of snow, it'll be sprinkles. It's like, well, some of you all are too young to get the joke, you know what I'm saying? But it's like Dave Chappelle said, you know what I'm saying? Like, sprinkle some crack on them. That's what God would do. Just sprinkle a little crack on, you know what I'm saying? on Charlotte. And then, like, within, I say, it'll be a little bit of snow on the ground. And then, like, by the end of the day, 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it'll be gone. It's a wrap. February, if it ain't gonna be no snow in February, it's a wrap. Ain't gonna be no snow in March. March is when it's gonna start, warming up. And then April, forget about it. So definitely the weather. That's the second thing. And third, last but not least, the cost of living. I'm not going up there. I gotta sell blood. I gotta go to the blood bank every day. I gotta work 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jobs. Come on, man. Straight up. And the thing of it is part of the reason why New York is not as popular as it used to be, you know what I'm saying, because of fashion. You know what I'm saying? Like, the internet really, like, made everything accessible. Like, back in the days, there was no internet. Well, at least publicly, you know what I'm saying? Not like how it is now, you know what I'm saying? Like, publicly, there was no internet. We would hear it hear about it on movies and stuff like that, but we didn't have public access to it, you know what I'm saying? So, like, whenever you saw fly shit, you saw P. Diddy wear something on a video, or Big Daddy Kane, or Busta Rhymes, or, any of these, New York rappers, you were like, yo, man, they don't sell that, because in the South, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, all right? But in the South, you got to go to the mall. You know what I mean? And the only outlet that you have that you could probably get somewhat exclusives, you know what I'm saying, is like a premium outlet mall, you know what I'm saying? Or like a Fashion Avenue, like the Arabs, the Arab stores and shit like that. Other than that, you don't have access to the fashion like that. So you would have to, I'll say I would have to actually drive. I was selling bootleg movies and CDs and all that stuff anyway. So I was going up to New York once every week, sometimes twice. So, I would go to SMD Underground. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy Jazz. Well, they got Jimmy Jazz down here now, but it ain't like how it used to be back in the days. I get my Timbs from Modell's, you know what I'm saying? I know some of y'all Negroes would y'all be wearing Brooklyn Express jeans. Oh man, I had to throw that in. You know what I'm saying? But you had to, I had to get my clothes up to New York. And then I would come down here and stunt. But the internet made it accessible. So whatever fashion or whatever you want to get as fashion wise, that you see, New York, they got Fashion Week and all that stuff, man, you could just go online and order that shit. And then the South got tired of New Yorkers, man, overall, coming down here stunting, you know what I'm saying, and talking down some. Now, I'm not going to say all New Yorkers, but some was talking down on the South, talking about, the South is slow, and, the people down here ain't too bright, and this and that and so forth, and South got tired of it. You know what I'm saying? And then the music started to become redundant. Everybody started sounding the same. The downfall of hip-hop music, in my opinion, because I know some of you all in the comment section going to be like, no, you're wrong, Langston, and this, that. My opinion. You know what I'm saying? The downfall of New York rap was when 50 Cent just broke up everybody. He dissed everybody, you know what I'm saying? And then he came with that Southern type of slang, you know what I'm saying? Straight up, you know what I'm saying? He was singing, and it was like somewhat of a LA type, Southern type feel. You know what I mean? It wasn't like real gritty New York. And then after that, New York ain't never been the same. On a cultural wise, hip hop culture that is. So yeah, I talk about Atlanta all the time because that's what people are talking about. That's what people are flocking to. That's where they're flocking to, as if Atlanta is the prices in Atlanta is not, I mean, come on, let's just let that be known. You know what I'm saying? It's not as expensive in New York as New York, but it's getting there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I mean, Atlanta is where it's at right now. That's the reason why I'm talking about it. You know, and a lot of New Yorkers are flocking to the South now because they're starting to realize that, yo, I'm paying like $3,000 a month and I'm living in the hood. That don't make sense. I sat here and I looked at Langston's video. He living in a 2-story house. You know what I'm saying? It's not a split house. You know what I'm saying? Because some New Yorkers feel as though that they made it once they got out of like the Bronx, you know, like the real concrete jungle, the Bronx, Harlem, Brooklyn, you know, and they moved out to Queens. See, they think Queens is like country, you know what I'm saying? Queens, Staten Island, Long Island. They like, nah, that's not real New York. You know what I'm saying? But even in Queens, it's mad expensive. But yeah, he living in a house. 2-story. It ain't split up. And he only paying like close to $1,800 a month. He got the garage, he got the front yard, the backyard, public park right down the street, a community pool and a community park. I want that type of living. You gotta understand, man, some people like in New York, man, they don't know anything about trees and grass and all of that stuff. I mean, not like in abundance like how it is in Charlotte and definitely in Atlanta. Atlanta, yo, man, the people, I always say this, the people in Atlanta, specifically the transplants, are the worst. But Atlanta, as well as just the state of Georgia, is beautiful. I'll never deny that. Never deny that. It is beautiful down there, especially in the summertime. Trees everywhere, whatever. But I tell you what, I could go to Piedmont Park. I could drive around Atlanta and Metro Atlanta, and it's beautiful, but it ain't nothing like summertimes in New York. Forget about it. Nothing like it. But yeah, man, New Yorkers are starting to realize, yo, I could get more bang for my buck going down south. Yeah, I may have to, you know what I'm saying, let go of a few amenities. You know, I may have to get a car. Ain't no may, you gonna have to, especially in Charlotte. We got a light rail, and that's just what it is, light. For real. And the MARTA, forget about it. The MARTA is garbage. And I mean it in you know, not saying like it's garbage like, oh yeah. No, I'm saying it's garbage like it's not going to take you everywhere. You can't depend on the MARTA to take you anywhere. Like I remember one day, you know what I'm saying, I was like, you know what? Because I've already caught I ain't going to say that. Fuck it. I don't care. It's already said and done. Plus I got my license back. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Judge me all you want. I don't care. But, you know, I say, yeah, it's been over 20 years. You know, I caught a DUI. You know what I'm saying? In Mineola, Long Island. They actually gave me the charge. I didn't pause, blow. You know what I'm saying? I denied that because it was snowing and all of that. And anyway, besides the point. So I said, you know what? You know, I want to get a little lit. You know what I'm saying? I was down in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? I want to get a little lit. So I was like, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to get somebody to drop me off at the MARTA, and I'm going to take the MARTA into Buckhead and then party and come back. I looked at the schedule and I'm like, how in the hell your train stops at like 1 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday? How? You know what I'm saying? When I used to party in New York, the trains were 24/7. Yeah, I may have to wait an hour. I may have had to wait longer, you know, coming back from, you know what I'm saying, a club in Manhattan. I say Club Cheetahs, for example. Y'all know Club Cheetahs. You know what I'm saying? Back in the days. I may have to wait a minute, but the train came. 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And that's another thing too, you know, like you gotta give up shit. Clubs end 2 o'clock in the morning in Charlotte. It may end a little later in Atlanta. They may party till about 3. I think I went to this throwback club in Ponce de Leon, and that shit ended like 3, something like that. But yeah, you ain't gonna get no clubs that end at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning like New York. So you're gonna have to give up some shit. But it's just an easier, way of living. So a lot of New Yorkers are down here. You know what I'm saying? And they have made that, places like Charlotte, Atlanta, their permanent home. You know what I'm saying? And plus New York is gotten off the hook. Like New York, like right now, New York is living like in the 80s. I know it's 2024, I think. Yeah, I think it's 2024. Is it 2023? Man, you know how it goes, man. Man, time flies. Or rather, should I say, they preoccupy us. You know what I'm saying? We just steadily working, running in that gerbil wheel, trying to make the best out of life to the point where time just passes by. Please, somebody tell me. I think it's 2024, if I'm not mistaken. But even though we living in 2024, man, please, New York is living in 1984. That's real talk. So yeah, man, I really don't have too much to talk about when it comes to New York, except for nostalgia. I could talk about the past and how it used to be lit back in the days. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't a police state, or city rather. You know what I'm saying? And when I lived there, I had fun. Man. The cops wasn't on every block. This is pre 9/11. This is pre Giuliani. Even though I did stay up there while Giuliani was, But for the most part, yeah, man, I have fun. I have fun living in New York. I can't talk about any bad things that happened in New York. I didn't get robbed. I've never gotten robbed in New York. I've never gotten stuck up in New York. I've never been in a bad situation in New York, ever. I mean, regular shit, you know what I'm saying? Like a cop stopping me, an undercover cop stopping me, hopping out of the car. I think that happens to everybody in New York. Hopping out of the car, putting his hand on my chest, talking about, hold up, you got any drugs on you? No. Then he starts searching the grass and shit to see if I threw some shit. You know what I'm saying? Just regular stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the train and there's a dude that got a machete in his trench coat. Just little stupid shit. But it ain't nothing like really ridiculous. I mean, ain't nothing I can really tell you. I mean, New York is what you see is what you get. It's just that plain and simple. That plain and simple. It's nothing really to talk about. But Atlanta is just like a lot of things to talk about because people just really believe the hype. And I know y'all are too young to know what I'm saying, but Flavor Flav said it best. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. For real. That's one thing that I can say about New York, man. New York is what you see is what you get. You know what I'm saying? And people are just straight real. Just straight real. Like, if they don't like you, they don't like you. In the South, man, my guy, my bruh. Then next thing you know, man, that nigga, hey man, nigga. Straight up, man. Straight up. Goddamn Julius Caesar out here like, et tu, Brute? Yeah. Stab you right in the back. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I always say this all the time. Don't sleep on the South, man. Don't. Especially Atlanta. Don't think Atlanta's sweet. Especially, don't even think Charlotte is either. I keep on saying this for the 19th millionth time. Just because Charlotte is named after a queen, that doesn't mean shit is sweet here. For real. But yeah, man, that's the reason why I talk about Atlanta is because that's where everybody's going to. That's where everybody wants to move. And I'm gonna leave y'all with this and then I'm done. Like every couple of years, black people make this massive exodus where they're from, and it's all about hearsay, you know what I'm saying? And at one point in time, DC was the move. At one point in time, LA was the move. At one point in time, New York was the move. You see what I'm saying? Now it's Atlanta, and Atlanta is starting to trickle off. And now it's becoming Houston, Dallas, Texas. And a lot of New York is they're skipping all of that and moving to Florida because there's no state tax. You know what I'm saying? So they could get way more money. You know, they can get that, you know, especially ones that work from home. You know what I'm saying? So that's crazy. So the New Yorkers are really like killing us, you know, like in the South. Like at one point in time, rent was like nothing. You know what I'm saying? But now you have New Yorkers coming down, and now they're competing with us. And who's playing with the numbers? It's the homeowners. It's the apartment management. You know what I'm saying? That manages apartments. They're like, well, let's just up the rent, hike the rent up, and see what happens. Oh, these Southerners, these locals are not going to pay for it, but the New Yorkers, they coming from paying $5,000 a month in the hood. So they'll be more than happy to pay for a 1-bedroom apartment, $2,000-$3,000. So yeah, man, it's crazy, man. So yeah, that's how it goes. You know, every couple odd years, you know, they play musical chairs with us, or either we play musical chairs with ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We believe the hype, we get caught up in the hype, and everybody moves where we think is lit at. And at this point in time, it's not New York, it's Atlanta. And that's the reason why I focus more on Atlanta than so New York. All right. Other than that, my name is Langston2092. Once you like, comment, subscribe, definitely share this video. Peace.